Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about the joys of community and why that's so important in our mindfulness practice. So this is big in Thich Nhat Hanh's monasteries, is the idea of communal living and working together and supporting each other, and how they find it really important to have brothers and sisters in the practice that share your same aspirations and intentions, and how when you're living in a community that supports the same intentions that you are, that feeds your growth in it and helps to remind you of those things and then hold you accountable if you're struggling with it, or in times of doubt, that other people are there to kind of lift you up and help you to continue on that journey. But how there's also an aspect of his practice centers that brings in diversity, and how everybody who's invited, they do not have to be of the same faith, the same background, the same ethnicity, and that there's a element of welcoming anybody in to this community as well, and how important that is in our practice, in our everyday lives, of welcoming difference, being able to be around it, to hear it, to listen, to learn from it, and why both of these things support us on our journey of mindful healing. So we'll talk first about having the community that shares our intentions and values and aspirations, and how we can find that. I know sometimes we live in small towns here in Montrose. It can feel difficult to find people with shared values if we are a little bit different than others. But that it's still available, and how it's important to kind of seek that out and be around people who do share your values. And even if they don't share all of them, to at least kind of share what your intentions are with the people who are closest with you in your life, so that they understand why you are holding these intentions, why you are living in the way that you are, why this is so important to you, so that when you're struggling or when you're having doubts, that they can at least be there to support you in continuing with those choices, if that's what you want. But if people around you aren't aware, especially these closest ones in your kind of closest community, aren't aware of your intentions and how you're trying to bring your practice into everyday life, it's harder for them to, one, understand the choices that you're making, and two, to want to support them, especially if it's different from what they do. So in order to start building your community that supports you in this, we have to start by sharing with people what we're doing and why, what our intentions are and why. If we're not clear on that and not being honest about it with the people around us, it's hard to build a community who shares the values, because nobody understands or even knows what we're up to. So we start by sharing. And then when we do, we might find more like-minded people as we're sharing, we understand what we're up to. Maybe we find people who agree and want to support us in it, and we can, create groups or meeting times to talk about it. Maybe we find people that aren't totally aligned with our intentions, but that are okay supporting them and understand why we are doing them, so that already helps us feel less isolated and more understood, and like our community is supporting what we are moving towards, or the growth that we're moving towards. And when we create this community, we share our intentions, we start accepting, the input, but then also the support and also reflection with these other people, so that it actually starts to build our practice stronger with their input and their insights into how things are going. And on the other side, we think about why, maybe we do have this strong community around us of people who think like us, who live our intentions, share our values, and then it becomes hard or scary to let people in who think differently and to let them be a part of it. And we can start to close ourselves off because we don't want to be questioned, or we don't want different values to come in out of fear that it might influence ours or change the way we think, or that there will be disputes in there. But understanding why it's so important to have difference within your community, and how that can also support you in your own intentions, even if people who are around you don't share them or have different ones, how that can still support you. And in mindfulness, it supports us in so many ways because it develops our ability to, do the deep listening, to practice our right speech, to always stay curious and aware. Does this align? What is really going on for this person? Can I learn from these differences, and staying open to adapting or adjusting, but then also using it as a reflection, and always looking, how is this affecting my perception of self or others or the world, and how these questions brought up by difference support us enormously, because either we reflect on that and say, okay, I understand that, but I also see why I still value my intentions most, or my values most, and how can this strengthen them? Or we start opening our mind and saying, wow, this is a new angle to my values that's showing up in a very different way in this person, but I can see how it has the same root. Or we share in our ideas and we notice how that communication can start either planting a seed in the other person, or even in us, to gain new insights or wisdom that again strengthen our practice. And so recognizing the importance of community, not only the community that shares your values, but also in the community that includes difference and includes other perspectives, and that both support us enormously in our growth and development and the deepening of our practice. So this week I invite you to look into your sense of community, and in what ways do you have a community or a group that shares your values, and in what ways do you include difference into that, and how does that support you? And are there some new ways maybe you could reach out and start helping that community to strengthen and grow? If you enjoy these talks and would like to join us for group sessions or individual coaching, you can find us at newleafmindfulness.com. You can also find these teachings and more in my book, Living from the Heart, Healing Ourselves So We Can Heal the World. You can find that in paperback format and audio book anywhere that you buy your reading content. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.